Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, double honors to the apostles and elders, great milestone that rule well. Shalom to the brothers doing the work of sharing truth. Just wanted to go through, just do a just go through Ephesians 2, do a little commentary on it, more or less. So yeah, Ephesians 2 and 1, it says, "And you have he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins, wherein in time past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air." And yeah, that's essentially, from when you come into this word, we're now in that period where all Israel was done away with, man. That falling away. That falling away took place, and Jake having no fucking clue who they were, and now essentially, if you're coming into the truth, you're being roused from that state, from just being in the world, from being a simpleton, where you walked according to, the prince of the power of the air, Esau, Edom, so-called white man. You're basically walking after, his whole world, his whole shit he set up. You're just, following after that. But then what? But it says, "What the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience." And yeah, because you have those examples now, like Nate and whatnot. These guys that are basically, coming to, learned this truth and then utilized it as something they're trying to use it to, to buff themselves up, to big themselves up, to puff up their own selves and bring about their own thing, rather than, actually dealing with what, what the truth of the scriptures is. And that's something, again, that same mindset that, we were in, but then you're meant to come out of that. It says what? "Among whom also we all had our conversation," or even before that, it says, "The spirit now worketh in the children of disobedience, among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others." So yeah, off in the world, doing the same things people doing now, eating pork, eating shrimp, eating all these, things you basically look at. Well, when you know the law, you basically gain the boundaries then. But before then, you're just, just open to all, all the madness that's in the world. You'll have all them philosophies bouncing around in your head. It might be a Christian, might be a Muslim, might be whatever. You all these different beliefs Esau has. You'll have that in your head. But then what? That's basically all comes off you from when you come in this word, man. It says what? "But the Most High, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherein he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, have quickened us together with Yahushua, by grace ye are saved, and have raised us up together, and made us sit together in heavenly places in Hamashiach Yahushua." So yeah, even us who are dead in our sins, we've basically been what? We've been quickened, man. Been roused up. And then as well, by what? By that grace. That's the grace, man. That grace, which is a gift. That's something that, you have pieced off to you, man. You have a portion to you, where that grace is basically a means by which for you to receive salvation. Because why? Because we all have broke the law, man. It's like, even from as simple as the Sabbath, from breaking that, it's toast. Your life's an end, essentially. So you need that grace to cover you. And then that grace also doesn't mean that you just then get to do whatever you want. You're gonna have the grace, and then be like, okay, so now and then you just go out and you commit, adultery. That's why you had the stories of them where they would, a guy would be like, okay, I got this turtle dove ready. Man was scheming on doing some wickedness, That's why the law of sacrifice was done away with. Because why? Because Jake would be scheming on, okay, I'm gonna go have sex with this broad, thinking I'm gonna this guy. Okay, this guy's off at war. I'm gonna go, deal with his missus. This guy's gonna be out in the field. I'm gonna deal with his missus, and I got the turtle dove there, the two turtle doves there to try and cover the sin. And this is how Jake would be moving. So they basically, just work that into the ground to where it's like if you're it's the purpose is meant to serve is completely gone in the bin, man. Them man are thinking, yo, okay, we got that covering and we can just do whatever we want. And it's funny because it's like there's certain men you'll tell, and you can tell they have that spirit on them, man, where they're basically just thinking of, they're looking at things like it's all just like everything they hear, they're just like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll just think about it. They basically ain't ever learning, never coming to the truth, man. That ever learning mindset. Because what they'll just kind of be like, yeah, well, but why if we got grace, then why we even need to do? He's thinking like, okay, you can just go off, and eat pork, and break all the laws. But then as long as he's like, well, we got grace and that, then at the last minute it will just come through. But there's, that's where you get an MOTB as well, that rice grain, because you deal with that, you're toast. And that'll be something, a man that's thinking like that, of course he's gonna fold and take it. And if raised us up together, verse 6, and have raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Hamashiach Yahushai, that in the ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his grace in his kindness towards us through Hamashiach Yahushai. For by grace are ye saved through faith. And yeah, that faith is part of it. That faith is necessary to to execute on it. And then faith without works is dead. And then what? It's like the grace. Because you got grace doesn't mean that, oh, now the law's been voided. Because of that grace, you still need to keep the law, because otherwise it's just not going to run. Because if you're breaking the law, then it's it's gaining the knowledge. You're meant to then realize what keeping the law provides you, and then what breaking it is how you're destroying yourself. For by grace, verse 8, for by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of the Most High. And yeah, it's a gift. That's something you've been given. And that means that you can't just be thinking like, well, I'll just, I'll just have that faith. I'll just have that, Because it's basically, there's things that need to be done to maintain it. And that's why you'll have, guys where they'll have it for a time, but they'll get snatched off them, man. And they'll just be left there in outer darkness, gnashing their teeth, man. It says, not of works, lest any man should boast. And yeah, those works make men man will be boasting in them works, man. And that's the same spirit, back 2,000 years ago. You had Jakes boasting within their works. They're thinking like, yo, okay, because they were in the land, because they had their lineage, they had their papers, they knew they were Israelites. They'll keep keeping the law to a certain extent. But then what? They want if Yahushua came on the scene, and you guys aren't able to see what Yahushua fulfilling the scriptures, then it's the word's not in you, man. And you had hella guys that were like that, hella examples. When Yahushua was on the scene, they were contentious, man. Top of the line list is wicked scribes and Pharisees. Them guys were doing the utmost to try and frustrate the purpose Yahushua came for, completely fruitlessly. To the point where it was what? Caiaphas, the high priest, prophesied of it. It's like there must be needs one, that dies so the nation, nation can live. Roughly paraphrasing, I can't remember the exact wording, Actually, you know what? I might as well get. Caiaphas. Yeah. It says John 11:49, and one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this he spake not of himself, but being a high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but also that he should gather together in one the children of the Most High that were scattered abroad. And yeah, that's what it's going to go into, because it's the spirit. That's why sacrifice was needed, because you had those that were outside the Commonwealth, man. You had those that were basically not in, the Judea of the time. There were ones that knew they were Israelites, ones that didn't even know they were Israelites. So they needed to be brought back into the fold. Because what does it say? Ephesians 2 and 10, it says, For we are his craftsmanship, created in Hamashiach Yahushua unto good works, which the Most High have before ordained that we should walk in them. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. And yeah, there was a past time when you had a lot of these Israelites. They were what? They were Gentiles, man. They were counted as Gentiles in the flesh. And the only way they could go from formerly being Gentiles was if they were Israelites all along. They had the spirit of an Israelite, but they were conducting themselves like a heathen. That's what, that's why that scripture will spin a Christian's head, because they ain't going to be able to piece it together. Yeah, the Israelite foreigners, those that were outside the Commonwealth, they would have been moving like Greeks, wearing togas, being uncircumcised, they've been shaving their beard, boarding off their head, they would be moving like heathens, just like you have today. Which is why these same scriptures is applying again, man. It's overlaying, repeating again now, because it's that same thing again. But we're at the tail end. This is the last, gathering. There ain't gonna be another scattering. It's only gonna be the kingdom after this. That's why there was a falling away. There was that scattering from before, where you had Jake got through Europe, got through into the interiors of Africa, Jake in the Americas. They all needed to be folding back into the nation, man. Those are the elect. It says, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. And yeah, that's how they would have been referred to, the uncircumcision. They would have been counted as like, yo, you guys aren't Israelites, man. Because why? Because they weren't keeping to the customs, but that's why the grace came in, man, to give the passageway. Because even for those in, the jokers, those in the land anyway, they had a portion of time where they were going to fall away as well. They needed to fall away. It wasn't just gonna, they weren't gonna stay knowing they were Israelites, being in the land, keeping the laws until the time of the end. That's why you got imposters in there currently, and then what? You have a whole conflict kicking off now, which is everyone's being drawn into that, man. Everyone's emotionally invested. Friendships are ending. Partners be breaking up over this, man. Guy just got kicked onto the couch, or kicked out of his own fucking apartment off the back of this. That's what we're in the midst of, man. Because it says what? Called circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time ye were without Yahushua, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant of the promise, having no hope, and without the Most High in the world. Yeah, so there was that period of time, Jake hella Jake. And those, you had to ask, we going through the different regions. You had hella Jake out there where, what, they were Israelites, but then what? They were completely disconnected. And that's why you have the need for them to be drawn back in, man. So as I say, Isaiah 11:11, it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Yeah, so all both the northern and southern kingdom, and Israel and Judah, kingdom of Israel, kingdom of Judah, needed to be brought back in as well. Because you had, even 2,000 years ago, you had Jake over in the Americas, where if Rome got torn down, the kingdom got established, them guys wouldn't have had means to get in. There was a necessity for what? For why, all the tribe needs to go into the Americas. And what needs to happen to America as well? If Babylon the Great ain't established, if Esau hadn't gone over to America and set up Babylon the Great, how's the prophecies going to be fulfilled? How's the MOTB going to be fulfilled? How's World War III, even World War I, World War II? How, there were prophecies that needed to be fulfilled. It's the same thing like now. Now we're in a time where it's like there's prophecies lined up, where for everything to come to an end, these must needs come to pass. So back in Ephesians, which is what, Ephesians 2:13, but now in Hamashiach Yahushai, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Yahushai. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandment contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace, that he might reconcile both unto the Most High in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby. Yeah, that enmity is the transgression of the law, man, that sin, that sting of death. Because that's what the grace basically means. It's, with, as far as for us, as it is now in the flesh, we can't keep the law. Therefore, it's what's that mean? If, going by the law of Moses as it was established after Israel came out of Egypt, then we're done, man. We're toast. It was basically, we keep the commandments, then we get the reward. And we done broke the commandments. Even before we came on the scene, we done broke the commandments. There's sins from past lives where certain men have to pay for. Like that's how peak it is. That's how in the mix we are, which is why grace is needed. And then through grace, that's how the elect of Israel are gonna receive that salvation. And that's all through Yahweh Shai. It says, well, verse 17, and came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were nigh. For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. Yeah. So those that were near and those that were far. So, those were in the land that knew, and then those that were, abroad. And that's why, going to Acts of the Apostles, what's going on? Going around all the different parts of Asia Minor, all the nations nearby, and then what do you have? You have Israelites, popping out of bushes, falling out of trees, springing out of rivers. These, Israelites everywhere. And then they're hearing the word and the Spirit's hitting them. Same thing now. The Israelites, they might look Chinese, they might look so-called East Indian, they might look like a so-called white boy, but they're all Israel, man. They're all counted. Because why? It's bringing them back, man. Drawing them all back in. Because why? The elect's been scattered. That's what there was a need, man. So John 10:15, as the Father knoweth me, Even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one sheepfold and one shepherd. Yeah, so it was necessary for basically the fold to be put back together, man. Because you had, like I said, 2,000 years ago, in the Americas, you already had Jake over there, man. That Northern Kingdom was already over there. They weren't in Judea. And that's why it's like, this modern day, like, nation state they've set up. They're going, it's the same thing with Judea, where they're only dealing with one tribe. But then back in Judea, it was like Judah, Benjamin, you would have had a very sparse amount of the other tribes there. Judah, Benjamin, Levi. But then what? 10 tribes, they're all gone, man. No one knew what gone. So it's necessary for them to be brought back. So it says, now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of the Most High. And yeah, that doesn't mean you're just taking some heathen. You just got an actual Edomite from the root going back to Esau that now is counted as the family. It's the same thing as, the strangers from the Commonwealth. The same thing as, once Gentiles in the flesh. They'll once in that state where they'll treated like a heathen, man. Which is in the scriptures. You cast them off as a heathen. When you have Jake, maneuvering like that, man, moving like a heathen. But what? There was, a pathway back that was given. That's what, they're of the stock of the saints and of the household of the Most High, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of the Most High through the Spirit. Yeah. So it's being built. It's the kingdom of heaven. That's what's being built. That's why it's, Yahushua laid the foundation for the kingdom of heaven. Which is then what? Bringing all that, reconstructing all that, man. Yeah, Lord willing, you're edified. I'll leave it there. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yishah, B'Shem HaGal Kadash B'Katah. Shalom.